Okay, so I stopped at talking about where they have with other species. They have multiple they have in their interactions of possibility indirectly impacting timelines, which is the other species or whatever, in destructive ways. These responsibilities are based upon the natural laws of governing the timelines, which further organize into multidimensional hierarchies that act as the gatekeepers between harmonic universes and extend into parallel universes. Those that are generally first to contact starseeds telepathically are from the same spiritual family and DNA template, or are those who believe they have a claim upon you, such as alien hybridization. It's the tendency that entities that exist upon in your timeline in a lower density than you or beneath your main spiritual representative family will not family will not contact you directly unless they have exerted some type of control over your mind. As we progress on the spiritual ascension path, we may have contact with various benevolent ETs while we are a match for the consciousness state of their particular dimensional reality, and this contact will stop when we move our consciousness into higher realms. Contact can be re-established, but generally through your direct inquiry. I gotta keep making sure that it doesn't just stop on me. Direct inquiry and request to communicate again. If these entities are benevolent, it is the protocol for these in higher dimensions to prevent timeline interference unless they are the rogue like NAA. Those that are benevolent choose to protect free will through a non-interference, like me, policy to respect the evolution process of less developed species. Others, such as NAA, no humans, are good telepathic transmitters that broadcast out their thoughts and impulses without discipline, and yet cannot discern what they are receiving telepathically. Thus, they are definitive black magicians that choose to dominate and abuse Earth humans through telepathic mind control. Implanting thoughts and perpetuating psychic attacks, psychological warfare waged through telepathic mind control, implanting thoughts and perpetrating mind control, implanting thoughts and perpetrating psychic attacks. Psychological warfare waged through telepathic psychic attacks are the easiest way to carry out divide and conquer domination agendas in order to control a less telepathic species. Thus, reliance on spoken words is considered to be the language of a very primitive or undeveloped species and is another classification that is used by the NAA to justify the use of Earth humans. The forms of verbal communication that are common to Earth inhabitants are considered primitive to many of our more advanced neighbors and ancient ancestors whose brains process thoughts and store consciousness, information with a much deeper multidimensional perception of language and at a much quicker rate. Thus, when interacting with a non-terrestrial that has not incarnated on the Earth, the communication is always telepathic transmissions of concepts, ideas, pictures, and images, as well through emotional and sensory experience. Sometimes they can translate their consciousness communication into the native language. The age of the receiving thought forms through amingulism, which is an ability to transmit a field into any spoken or written language. This is a mastery reserved for incredibly advanced entities. Telepathy is natural to humanity. Telepathy is a natural, believe it or not, common mode of communication and interaction between people, which is naturally available to many other species and to which Earth humans have specifically deprived in order to maintain their consciousness enslavement. When stripping human of their innate telepathic abilities, which innate is inborn natural obfuscation, the action of, inborn natural, that's what that is. Obscure is another word that I looked up. Obfuscation, I don't know what word that is. Anyway, When stripping humans of their innate telepathic abilities, it generates mental obfuscation, which is the action of making something obscure, unclear, or unintelligible, and blurs perception, preventing most people from recognizing the quality of energy around them and being unable to quickly process sensory information in order to accurately assess the environment. If all that is left is 5 physical senses to perceive our physical environment, these senses are as having major effects in the energy field. These are complex and layered qualities of energy and consciousness that bear upon our lives but remain unrecognized by the physical senses. The alien machinery used to erect frequency fences and broadcast electroshock therapy during sleep state have been proposed to mind wipe the consciousness body as an effective measure to eliminate or reduce the possibility of spontaneous and natural telepathic communication links between the DNA signals on human beings. When humans regain their natural telepathic capacity through soul integration, they are also able to perceive and view non-human intelligences more easily, and erect is rigidly upright or straight, obviously. But some people might not know what that means. So I wanted to get that across. Like, this isn't the end of it. There's still more that I have to write down. I just haven't gotten to it yet. I just wanted to finish reading that off so I knew exactly where I was ending and where I was beginning with the next one. So I'm going to do that and explain a little bit more again why I'm doing this, because I'm noticing more and more telepathic experiences happening for myself. And I want people to know that, like, you're not crazy. You are hearing what you think you're hearing. I want you to know that. Like, I want you to realize that you're not crazy. This is natural. This is, like, something that we all have to come to realize, that it's a part of our life. And it's not pseudoscience, and it's not, like, fake. It's not someone going crazy. It's us actually being able to hear each other in another way other than using the telephone, which I think the telephone is a terrible way for us all to communicate because of its connections to EMFs and stuff like that. And it's very dangerous. So, like, to use telepathic connections would be way better for viable communication and undangerously. You know what I mean? Like, instead of it being dangerous to us, it's more natural. We don't have to pick up the phone and dial it, pick it up, like, and you know what I mean? Like, things like that. So, don't think of it as crazy talk. Think of it as something that's better for us than what we are using now. So it can actually lower our experiences of certain cancers and illnesses and disease and stuff like that we're all getting from these EMFs. And that's literally what's going on. And that's all man-made. It's all man-made viruses. It's all man-made sicknesses. And it's because of the frequency that comes through the EMF. And it's something that we do not need. We do not want. And if we do the natural love language, which is light language and telepathy between each other, then everything would be so much better, I think. And I think everybody should stop thinking about it as crazy and start thinking about it as natural. So that's why I'm explaining this to everybody, and it'll make it easier for me to explain certain things later on down the road when I'm trying to get my story out. So that's why I do that. Thank you for listening.